Can I recreate Starry Night using only rubber bands? Watch the video to figure out if I do it. If you don't think I can, then you'll be in for a surprise. If you want to watch the video, keep on watching the video. So I'm going to start out and I'm going to get some rubber bands from all over the place because I have all these rubber bands, but they're just not very sorted. They're kind of disorganized. So I'll have all these rubber bands from all over the place, but they're all congregated in the same spot. Rubber bands of all shapes and sizes and colors, but I'll have to sort them out mostly by color. I'm not going to sort them by size too much because that would be hard. That would be too much sorting. So then I'll have all these piles of rubber bands, but there's a problem. So you see there's not very many blue rubber bands, and Starry Night's mostly blue, so how am I going to make Starry Night just using rubber bands if there's not very many blue rubber bands and Starry Night's mostly blue? Well, we'll just have to hope that it works out. But then I'll go ahead and start. The other things I'll need are nails and a board, so I'll start out with the board. I'll get the board from the barn, and I'll get this big board. It's a pretty heavy, huge board, but it's all covered in dirt, so I have to wipe off the dirt. And I have to get all the staples out. There's all these little staples in it. And I'll try to yank out the staples while filming myself yanking out the staples, which will kind of be a terrible idea because it'll be really hard. But then I'll eventually get it to work. And then I have this board, and the board's all ready to go. I also went and got nails, but I didn't film myself getting the nails. But there are nails. I'll print out Starry Night, and that'll be sort of the base for my project. So I'll print it out and I'll tape it to the board, and then Starry Night's taped to this board. So I'll hammer the nails in and all the sort of key points. I'll start out with the sky. I'll do like the swoopy thing, and I'll do like the stars and all the big moon thing. So I put on a bunch of nails. I'm almost done with the sort of sky part, so then I can add on this back layer like it has on the Lego set. That'll be the first layer, so I don't have to worry about this whole village and plant part yet. And I'll add the nails here and for this one too. Okay, at this point I'm ready to start adding rubber bands. So I'll start out with some small blue ones, these sort of rubber band bracelet ones, and I'll put them all over the background. I did this whole background layer. I might add a little bit more, but now I'm starting to work on the stars and stuff. Okay, here I am adding in all those stars and the cloud or space or whatever that's supposed to be. And I just sort of added a bunch of yellow and white rubber bands sort of mixed together to try to mimic like paint strokes. Okay, I just got back from a backpacking trip. A couple of rubber bands broke while I was gone, and I had to take them out. But most of them stayed intact, which is good. Rubber band art is sort of ephemeral, I guess. But yeah, I'm ready to get back to it. And get back to it I did. I added in the stars, and I added in that big yellow part in the background. Another like cloud or space thing. And then I was ready to start working on the moon, which is sort of the exciting part. It's got this big like iconic shape. I added in the whole space, and here's what I had so far. Nice sweeping shot of it. Yeah, look at that. I'll gradually rip out the paper from underneath as I do it. A butterfly just flew by. I'll start ripping out the paper from underneath, so you start to see sort of the board shine through, and you start to see sort of like a more polished look. It doesn't have this like paper thing underneath. It just has the rubber bands, and that's Starry Night. Through and removed all the paper from underneath. It was pretty difficult, especially in these parts with the really dense nails. But I got it. I left this one part with the plant so that I'll still be able to see where that goes. Now I think I'll try to add more nails for these mountains in the back, and then work on the town and stuff. And the town was kind of awful because there were so many little like angles, but it turned out okay, and I think it fits in with when you see the whole painting. It works in the context. Okay, I keep going through and adding more stuff. I've got some of the hills in the back and the bushes and stuff. And I'm starting on the big plant in the front. So now this whole top section, the paper's all ripped out from under it. The town's a lot more complicated. It takes a lot more nails because of all the corners and all the little details. Because here there can be some really big spaces without any nails just because the shapes are so simple. Or they're like more abstract, so they don't need to be perfect. But down here it's pretty precise with all these houses and all these, and like the church and stuff. I'm starting to run out of a lot of colors of rubber bands. I'm disassembling these old rubber band bracelets to get more little blue ones. And there isn't really a good color to match this dark green. So for the plant I just sort of did some of these lighter green rubber bands. And then I put the brown and black over top of it to sort of add that little bit of green, but not have to, like, get a whole new set of rubber bands or whatever. Here's what the real-time process looks like, stringing some of the rubber bands. It takes a while. You're just adding them one by one, sort of wrapping them around the nails. And especially in the town, this was a crazy part. And so, there's some loud noises. Maybe it doesn't get picked up on the microphone, I'm not sure. I've added some more onto it. I've got a couple of these buildings in the front. One thing I've noticed is it's kind of hard to see what the buildings look like from far away. It just looks like a bunch of nails. And look how dense the nails are at this part. Despite my qualms, I figured it was the best idea to just keep on going with building it. So I kept on adding more nails and ripping out the paper. It's kind of a satisfying process to rip out the paper. I guess it's like oddly satisfying. And so I'll let you watch that to be satisfied. And then I kept on building it and ripping out paper. Bet you like that. Bet you like the paper ripping out, don't you? And then I was getting towards the plant. I was adding in the big, I was finishing it up. I was getting towards the end. Here's some more real-time stringing. Look at that. I kept on working, and I finished Starry Night, and eventually I had the whole thing was done, and I got to rip out the last little bits of paper, so it was just a board with a bunch of rubber bands and nails. And then I decided it would be cool to frame the whole thing, so I made a big long string of these brown rubber bands, and I wrapped it around the whole thing, so it's a nice little frame for the painting. So it just looks like Starry Night, but made out of rubber bands, so I did it. I made Starry Night, but then there's still this extra side of the board. That's a little bit annoying, so I'm gonna have to saw it off. So this is kind of a dangerous part, because what if I'm sawing it, and then I saw in the wrong spot, and one of the nails springs up, and then because the rubber bands are pulling on it, and it launches nails all over the place, and launches rubber bands all over the place. It ruins the thing, and maybe I get a nail. That would be unfortunate. But fortunately that didn't happen. So I got it, and I have it, and it's done. And there's Starry Night. It's made out of rubber bands. So I finished it. I did it. So smash that button, and because it's pretty cool. It's if you thought I couldn't do it at the beginning when I said do you think I can do it? Well, you were wrong, because I did it, and it pretty much looks. I think anyone could tell that it's Starry Night. It might not be a perfect replication, but I think it's pretty cool. So that's the video, and if you subscribe, I don't know, you could do that. Okay, now it's been a year since I made Starry Night. It's been a year and 3 months to be precise, and it still looks pretty similar, but some of the rubber bands broke and the whole frame is gone too.